The fired Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd will be sentenced this afternoon. Floyd died on Memorial Day last year after Derek Chauvin kneeled on his neck for more than 9 minutes during an arrest. His death led to one of the largest protest movements in U.S. history, demanding police reform and racial justice. The prosecution wants Chauvin to be sentenced to 30 years in prison. The defense team is asking for probation with no further prison time. Joining us now is Shareeduh Tate and George Floyd, who was George Floyd's cousin, and attorney Ben Crump with the Floyd family. First of all, good morning to both of you. Thank you for being with us. First question to you, Shareeduh. I know that your family has said that faith and hope has gotten you all through this after the conviction. What are you hoping to hear from the judge today?
I'm hoping to hear that he will get the maximum sentence allowed under the law, and that would be 30 years.
And Ben, you know that the prosecution, as we just mentioned, is asking for 30 years. Do you think that is likely, and is that enough, in your opinion? What would be the appropriate amount of time?
We have always asked that the appropriate sentence would be what they would have sentenced George Floyd to had the roles been reversed. We only seek equal justice in this matter. We believe that George would have been convicted of first-degree murder and he would be facing life in prison. However, we believe if the judge sentences Derek Chauvin to 30 years, that would be significant progress for the quest of equal justice in America.
Shareeduh, do you plan to give a message to the judge today? And what do you want the judge to take away from what you and other family members have to say?
Well, I think what I would want the judge to take away is what we've been saying all along, is that we expect to see justice in this case. Our cousin was murdered, and though the sentence that's being offered is not enough time, and I don't think there is any amount of time that would be justifiable in our minds, I think, the messaging should be all the evidence points to the fact and he's been convicted, and now we just need the 30-year sentence.
In terms of hearing from Derek Chauvin, which it's unclear if he's going to speak, does it matter? Do you care to hear what he has to say today, if he speaks at all?
No, I don't care to hear from him at all. I don't think there's anything that he could say that would change my perception of what happened on May 25th, 2020. So, I mean, in my opinion, and I think I can speak for my family and in its entirety, none of us really care to hear anything he has to say.
Ben, it's Anthony. Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison took the unusual step of asking the public to send in victim impact statements. I'm curious what you make of that.
I think, Anthony, it was a profound thing to do. This was unlike anything we had ever seen in America. I mean, it galvanized people all across America, all across the globe, when they watched that torture video for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. And so I think America had PTSD. And so I think what Attorney General Ellison wanted to do is let the judge know that the whole world is watching. The whole world is watching today.
Shareeduh, it's Tony Dokoupil. It's been 2 months since we heard that guilty verdict in the case. What have those 2 months been like for your family, and where does the family go from here?
Well, I think, for all of us, it was sort of a sigh of relief, for lack of a better way of expressing it. I think we just exhaled, as we heard one conviction after the other. And so going from here is just continuing to work to make sure that there are, some changes that will affect generations to come as it relates to social justice. Our family has committed to doing that since day one, and we have not stopped, and we will continue to be present and actively working towards that.
And the United States Senate needs to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act immediately so we can stop some of these hashtags from happening and black people being killed unjustly.
Shareeduh Tate and Ben Crump, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Stay with CBS News. For continuing coverage of Chauvin's sentencing, we will bring you a special report when he is sentenced this afternoon.